wait. Slow division first.
Oh, I seen Charles Martin. He's trying to call me out. He's saying, man, I want to fight that fat boy. But come on, man. I can't go backwards. I beat the guy that beat you. So there's no point. I need to get somebody else. Someone that's going to be good for me, you know? But, I mean, I beat your ass in sparring by one hand. That was her.
And as you guys just saw, Andy Ruiz more or less dismissed an idea of taking on Charles Martin. And he states, well, I beat your ass in sparring. I beat the guy that beat you. I don't go backwards. And let me counterpunch. I think at this point, you know, you're looking at Luis Ortiz. That did beat Charles Martin. He did that. But that was like a desperate, last-minute, saved by grace attempt by Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz went down by a jab, knowing his punch resistance was gone. And then if anybody knows anything about how promoters and fighters, both alike, wait for these fighters to age, okay? Waiting them out, the waiting game. Tick-tock, tick-tock. That's what Andy played. Okay, he did that with Luis Ortiz. And if it wasn't for that shot that landed, that made Charles Martin stand up and do a side pose, you know what I mean? It would have been devastating. You know, it was just a matter of time when Charles Martin would have landed another shot and down went Luis Ortiz. Now, how many times he would have got up is anybody's business, because the man does have heart. He's just too old to be in there to take those shots, because he's not durable enough anymore based on, you know, wear and tear. He's just old. And Andy Ruiz knew that. So to say this, you know, to say all that, to get back to this point, Andy Ruiz should understand, if he needs a tune-up and someone's calling you out, I suggest you take the fight. Saying that you'll go backwards, fair enough. Because if that's the case, and that's how Andy is, if his expectations are that high, that means we expect him to fight somebody a lot better than Charles Martin. You know, because Charles Martin was just recently beat by Jared Anderson, which Jared Anderson is an up-and-coming fighter now. And he is a guy that is looking like the future of something. We don't know what it is yet, but he's going to be some type of force, some shape, form, or fashion, okay? Now, how far he goes is anybody's business, but he did beat Charles Martin. So going backwards, if Andy Ruiz looks at Charles Martin as a sign of going backwards, then you went backwards last year by fighting Luis Ortiz. Now, I understand it was a final eliminator by the WBC, but that deemed to be a clown show, okay? It was a clown show. It was not anything legitimate. So that being said, we expect Andy Ruiz to fight somebody with something, okay? So from this point on, since Andy Ruiz has said, well, I beat your ass in sparring, I beat the guy that beat you, what do you mean, man? Come on, man. And all that shit, okay. So if you get into the ring with somebody that we never heard of for your next fight, you, Andy, will be counterpunched. Okay? You will then be held accountable for being a hypocrite. Because when you got guys, I want Usyk and Tyson and Wilder and Joshua. Well, he's mad at Joshua, so Joshua's scared. He's a bitch, and Eddie and Snickers. Okay? So he's calling all these big names out, and if he doesn't get any of those big names, he better get close to what it is. But the question is, who the hell would he fight that is known? See, Charles Martin is at least a champion. He could fight him. Now, I know Andy think in the back of his mind, he's thinking me and Deontay Wilder are the only two people that beat Luis Ortiz. But have you seen Luis Ortiz since then? You haven't seen him since. He hasn't fought since. I don't think that people want to really see him in the next fight. They seen that eye all rolled back in his socket, from a right hand from Ruiz. They seen he's tough, but, people don't want to see an old man get beat up. I mean, I don't. But the thing is, you haven't seen him since. So, Andy's talking as though this guy is a clear and present danger for everybody else in the heavyweight division, where that's far from the truth. You fought the guy on his last leg, and for what we understand is, Luis Ortiz may not even fight again. You know what I mean? So that's not really a good thing at all for Andy Ruiz, for saying and turning down Charles Martin, a guy that dropped Luis Ortiz twice, whereas he dropped him 3 times. Okay, so this, to me, is just another duck or swerve or avoidance from Andy Ruiz to fight somebody that wants to fight him. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Andy Ruiz dismissing the idea of fighting Charles Martin. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!